Now, a few years ago, a very respected comedian come out with a line of jokes. These were, "You might be a redneck if" jokes. And Jeff Foxworthy did a wonderful job of explaining to the true redneck people of this country that they were rednecks. Now, the problem is now everybody in this damn country thinks they're a redneck. But the truth of the matter is, just because you have a momentary lapse of good judgment, that does not mean that you're a redneck. Rednecks are constantly having momentary lapses of good judgment. So just because you have one or two of lapses of good judgment every now and then, that does not mean you're a redneck. And I need to straighten a few of you out. All right. Let's see if we can get this done. To start out with, if you can afford to buy a house with a foundation on it, you're definitely not a redneck. If you own a poodle, you're definitely not a redneck. If your best friends is not Larry the Cable Guy and Ron White, you are definitely not a redneck. If you... I'm just saying. If you like NASCAR, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a redneck. It might mean that you need to get a damn life, but you're not necessarily a redneck. All right. Now, if you run around all the time wearing a cowboy hat, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a redneck. It may mean that you need one of Ron White's signs, but it does not mean you're a redneck. You're just stupid. Now, if you are actually smarter than a 5th grader, you're probably definitely not a redneck. Just some of you are not rednecks. I know that Jeff Foxworthy tricked y'all into thinking you are, but I gotta straighten this mess out. Some of you are just not. People from the South are rednecks. People from the North probably are not, unless you moved from the South to the North. If you move from the South to the North, you are evolving out of that redneck stage of your life. If you were not priorly related to your wife before you got married, you're probably not a redneck. I'm just saying. If you have never got in your vehicle drunk, running through your backyard, saying, "I am the world's best backwards driver," you are probably not a redneck. Look, I'm just telling y'all, there are some people that are rednecks, and there's some people that have good common sense. That's just the bottom line of it. Now, just because that I jerry-rigged something to make it through my day does not mean I'm a redneck. Because later on, I'll go buy the part I need and put it on the lawnmower, you know. Here's a situation like I'm talking about. I got a hole in the lawnmower tire, right? So I jerry-rigged the lawnmower tire to finish out the day. What I did was I drilled a small hole in it, put a little super glue in it, I let it dry, filled it back up with air, and it got me through the rest of the day. Now later on, the next day when I was done, I went and got the lawnmower tire fixed properly. Now just because I jerry-rigged something does not mean I'm a redneck, because I can actually afford parts for my lawnmower, you know. Now, if you're pulling your boat around with a Ford pickup truck, you're definitely a redneck. But if you got a classier vehicle like a Dodge pickup truck, you can actually afford a trailer to pull your boat around with, you're probably not a redneck. I'm just saying, some of you got a little confused and mixed up with Jeff Foxworthy's videos. You thought you were a redneck, but you're truly not. You just had a few momentary lapses of good judgment. Now, I hope this video has straightened some of you out. Because there's some confused people out there. You know, if you actually own your own golf cart and you take it to the golf course, well, you're definitely not a redneck. That's all I'm trying to say. If you can afford to buy more than a half a gallon of milk at a time, you're definitely not a redneck. Now, don't think that just because I'm here in a machine shed making comedy videos that I'm a redneck. I'm not. I'm just trying to escape from my 6 kids who are in the house and get a little me time in my machine shed. So I'm definitely not a redneck. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I hope you're no longer confused to whether you are or are not a redneck. Until next time, God bless you.